first thing you need to think about is the topic for your website. Some ideas are to create an instructional website. Maybe you sponsor a group or organization, a fundraiser, site for parents, or student-created site model. So once you determine your topic that you want to create a site on, you're going to go to www.wix.com, and from here click on the Get Started button. And so we need to enter, oh, this is login. We want to click on the sign up page, and then you would put in an email address. And password. And I would recommend you write it down so that you would remember it. Oops, forgot the rest of it. Okay. Okay, so full website address and password, write them down, and then click on sign up. And if you want to save this password, I'm creating a dummy count just to demonstrate, so I'm going to say not now, but you would probably want to save yours. And then, so let's do it. Let's get started. Who do you want to create a website for? Okay, you have a series of questions, or we can skip this. I'm going to keep, I probably should have skipped at the beginning. Okay, so then you get to this page, create your website with the new Wix editor. And I'm going to click on choose a template. And so you can click on all templates to show all of them, or more, or blank templates. You know, when you get more experienced, I'd recommend you play around with the template sites. It's very quick and easy, but it's hard to edit if you don't understand how they're made. So in that regard, I recommend a blank template for your first site that you create. And I'm going to say this, select the one start from scratch and click on edit. Takes a minute. And there's a little video. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. So that'll open up your page. So we're now on the blank editing page. And I want to show you some of the tools along the top. This is one place where you can switch and change to different pages. Another one is through the menus and pages. So see how it's kind of duplicated, but you can do more editing in here, like adding pages. The three dots, you can select that to be able to duplicate a page. And we'll get into this a little bit more later. So accessing the page you want to work on, or adding or deleting pages here. This is the desktop version, which I recommend for editing the site. You can change it to see what it looks like in a mobile version. I'm going to go back to the desktop. And under Site, you can save or preview or publish here. But notice you have the same thing over here, save, preview, and publish. You have some settings, tools, and this is the things that I have checked when I start working on the site. I check toolbars, the grid lines, and snap to objects. This is for working in Corvid development mode. So if you like doing coding, you're going to probably enjoy this area. This is the help menu. So you can get help here, shortcuts, and you can upgrade to paid versions. This is, let's see, zoom out and reorder pages. Undo, so if you make a mistake, you need to undo it, or if you need to redo, you have that here. Okay, along the left side, you have menus and pages, background, add, adding apps, media, a blog, email marketing, bookings, and content manager. And there's more in there. So like there's more choices when you go into each of those. So just to give you an idea, you will use the site menu a lot. You'll use add a lot because this is where you're going to add text, images, you know, most of the things that are added to your site. This is the App Store. So if there's something not built in Wix that you want, you would go here. And media. So you have a ton of choices here, from social media bringing in material to your own site files. Okay, so that's a good place to begin. You will notice along the top you have some dotted lines. This is your header area where you're going to add your header image and navigation. And we're going to start first with the navigation. So I'm going to click inside of the header, and you'll notice it's highlighted here. And so now I need to add navigation. So I go to the plus sign to add. I come down here to menu, and then I have my different choices. So you can scroll down to find the one that you want. And I'll look through here. I think this is the one I picked. That's the one I picked. I'm going to click and drag that inside of the header area, and then I can position that and center it in here. And I've been working on this, so that's why I already have the buttons have changed. Yours will probably just say home for right now, and that's fine. It'll change as you start adding pages. You will notice when you select your navigation bar, above it or below it, depending upon where it's located on the page, you have additional editing options. This is Manage Menu, which will open up the menu here. This navigation, let me click on Layout, so you can see you have more editing choices on how this is laid out, how it looks. You have Design. Again, more choices. You can scroll through, make selections, animation, stretch, and help. So that should be helpful to you when you're working on your navigation. So let's just, for practice, go to save. It's on auto save, but it doesn't hurt to do that. And so then you put in what you want for the ending part of the name. And this basically becomes your website address. And so if you've got a smartphone, whatever, with a camera, you might take a picture of it or write it down. And this becomes your website address. And so the only thing you're changing is just this part, and you say done. You can go to preview, upper right corner. It shows you what it looks like. Back to editor. You cannot edit when you're in the other mode. You have to be back in the editing mode to be able to make changes to it. Okay, now that we have the navigation in place, what you want to do is have a folder you set up on your computer. So I'm on a Mac. I would just go to a File, New Folder, and then I called mine Wix Workshops. That's the name of the site. And you'll notice I put my images in here, like those PNG, it could be JPEG. Whatever images you're wanting to add to your site, you'll want to put into your folder. And so then back to the Wix editing page, if I click on the plus sign and click on to add image, and I want to go to My Image Uploads, and there's pre-made ones in there as well. So then what I did is I simply would drag, like say this ESU logo, I would simply drag that inside of my site files, and it'll copy it there. Okay, so then that's been added. And so if I wanted to add that then to the page, I would select it and add to page. and then that comes up. I'm going to take that one out. I just hit the delete key. I actually need to bring in the header image. So plus sign, image, my image uploads, and I uploaded this earlier, so I'm looking for my header image right here. Add to page. Okay, you notice it didn't come in inside of the header area. If I duplicate this page without it being in the header won't go with it. And so if I want it to be on all of my pages, if I just add a new page, I'm going to have to drag it up above. So I need to put that in position. So if I want to click inside of it and drag it to where I want it to be located, I want to move this navigation down just a little bit. Let's see if I can, yeah, there's the line. I can stretch this down just a little bit so the header goes up where I want it to be. And so now when I duplicate pages, the header and navigation then would be on all pages. Okay, now you're ready to add text to the body area of the page, the body text. So I'm going to click on the plus sign for add, go to the top text, and you'll notice you have a lot of choices. So titles, subtitles, different sizes. So I'm going to add, let's try add heading 3, and that's pretty big. So if I don't like that and I want to change it, I can just click on this. Notice with this selected above it, you can edit the text here, and I can change it. So instead of heading 3, let's try something smaller, like let's try heading 1, that looks better. I can change the font if I want it bold for a heading, and how large I want it. So anyway, your editing tools are above it. So then I can click inside, hold down, and drag it into position, move it a little bit away from the edge there. You'll notice that that snap to grid, it helps you to line things up on your page. If you wanted to use that, I'm going to actually want that a little bit away. Change one. Let's just go ahead and put it right on the line. There we go. Okay, so I can then double click, click once, return, and I could go ahead and start adding additional text, or I could keep it as a separate piece. So I'm just going to put another word in, highlight this. I can then change this to, say, paragraph 1. Okay, so you can kind of see how you can go back and forth, like that still looks too big. I can then change this even to a smaller size. Okay, that's a little bit better. So it gives you an idea of like how to add text real simple and easy, and your edit text, animation, help, and if you wanted to connect it to data. So clicking on it gives you the edit text options. So like if you needed to have text you wanted to add a link to it, you would do that here. If you needed to change a color, you could. You need to change the alignment of the text, like if you want something centered versus left align. So really pretty easy. I have switched over to my home page that I've already created. So you can see how I've already added the text in the body text area. This is an image, this logo I brought in, and then I put a little gray box in behind here, and that's from where I got that from was add and then shape. And so I just picked one of these shapes and then changed the color of it. So clicking above here, so then I changed the color of that to like a light gray. And then I grabbed the anchors to then put that, to resize it as I wanted to. And you can also layer this. If I control click, you can change the arrangement, like move to back, send to, send to the front, that sort of thing. Sometimes if you have trouble getting something to delete with just the delete key, I found if I control click on it, I can also delete it that way. So I'm going to take that out. But anyway, so you get what you want to do, your goal is to get the header in, the navigation, and I'd get your text in. And down here I added a social bar. And where I got that, I went to the add, and there's one called social. And you can take the bar, and there's other options down below. So I just grabbed this bar, and then it added it to the page. And you can then set the social links. So I can edit this and put in wherever I want to link that to. I can delete them, I can add new ones, all from this window. So I'm going to X to close out of that window, click and hold down to drag it into position, and I'm going to delete this because I have a duplicate. You could put your like copyright information below. I just, could be like Holland with a copyright symbol, the year. I just put creating a Wix website and the year on mine. Okay, the next thing we want to do, once you get the home page in great shape, then you just want to make copies of it, because then you're going to have, your navigation will be set up, header, and the body text. So you just edit this. Okay, let me show you the difference. I go to menus and pages. So like with the home page selected, if I click on the add page button, it just put a new blank page down below it. And so I'm going to just call it test and done. Okay, we're on the test page now. And so let me click on home. There's the home page, there's the test page. So you can see that the header and navigation went with it. And so I'm going to go ahead and delete this one out. That test one I created, and delete it. Okay, so the other way is to select a page, like let's select the meeting page. And I'm going to click on the three dots to the right of it and say duplicate. And so I'm going to give it a new name, test, and done. Okay, now notice the difference. So here's my meeting page, and this is the test page. I just duplicated it. And so the body text came with it, where it didn't on the other one. And so I could either just edit this and change the text to what I want on the new page. So it's really up to you. Either way works. So I'm going to select the one I don't want and just hit delete. Oops, take that back. How about, I need to go here to the three dots and delete, and it's just confirming you want to delete it. So you can see though, there's my home page. I set up a meeting page, instructor page, so I changed the contents on each of these pages. And then I have a lessons page with just, let me close that a minute. I just put links into all the pages. Which it is also will show up in this drop-down menu. Okay, so now you notice what I did here. This was over to the left, if I can get it to go back. Then want to. They were like this, and I drug them to the right, and I indented all the drop-down menu items. And so you'll notice that, so it just looks like a new page. There's the sign up, login page, creating your home page, adding navigation, adding images, adding text, adding additional pages. And then I've got a few formatting tips on this page. I added a sharing link, and you notice this is not indented because I wanted it to show along my main navigation. So all those other pages are sub pages, kind of hidden from the drop-down menu. On the sharing page, I'll show you what this looks like. I added a Padlet. So after you create your first site, I thought it would be fun to share. And so you could just click on the plus sign or double click in this blue box and then add your website address. So that way we can see each other's sites and you can get inspiration from each other. Okay, so after you've added content to all of your pages that you've created, and you'll just select whatever page you want to work on from here, and then add your text and whatever information. You can have images in the body text area, and so getting the site finished up. I do recommend that it has autosave on it, but it isn't always up to date, I guess I might say. So I would still click on the save button occasionally as you're working to make sure you don't lose anything, and then done. And the preview doesn't always show what everything's going to look like it would live on the internet. I'm going to go to publish. And so there's my website address, and I'm going to say view site. And so now I'm actually looking at it on the internet. See that website address that I told you about earlier? And so now I can test it, because as I added pages, the navigation automatically added it to my bar, all these. So you see the home and the meeting, instructor, tutorials. And this is what I mean by the drop-down menu. Those are the individual lessons in order that you complete them, and then sharing. So anyway, I hope you enjoy the workshop. There's more information on the website. There's maybe a few details that I left out, but I wanted you to just visually be able to see where all the tools are located and how easy it is to put a site together. And then from here, you might try out some of the templates and see if you like that better. So thanks so much. I will check with you and see if you have any questions. I've enjoyed working with you today. Thank you.